and welcome back to the Rise and Align podcast, where we talk about all things high vibrational. We're your hosts. My name is Demi.
And I'm Halie, and today we are doing the long-awaited crystal episode, or at least one of probably many. Crystals are something that we both love and use, and they are such an amazing magical tool that you can have in your toolbox that we always talk about. And there's so many different types of crystals and ways to use them. And I think that today is going to just be a fun, witchy episode to dive into that.
Definitely. Yeah. So if you're new to crystals, this will be an awesome episode for you. Or if you ever wondered like how they work, if there's any legitimacy behind them healing, or what people use them for in their spiritual practice, this episode's definitely for you. So that said, I want to talk about my own kind of beliefs around crystals and why I do think that they are so magical. The first point that I'd like to make that I kind of came up with on my own one day when I was just thinking about it was that I feel that through time we expand. Like, time in a way represents expansion a lot, because I always talk about like how there's only the here now and time is kind of an illusion. But if time were going to represent anything, I believe that it's our expansion. Crystals take thousands, sometimes millions of years to grow and develop in the earth. And if you've ever studied the concept of grounding, the earth actually cleanses our energy and grounds us physically to a point that it can actually heal physical ailments within our body. So imagine a substance to have all of that expansion and healing energy within it. It's a very pure substance. And that to me makes a lot of sense as to why they would be so powerful, why they might have a way to actually physically heal us, and why people are so attracted to them. So that was just kind of my own thought around it, right? My own spiritual thought around it. But after that, if you're going to tell me something, I want to know scientifically or logically what your reasoning is for believing something. I want to know why. I want to know the how. I want to know the details. Tell me why this is the truth, right? And so I started looking up, is there scientific proof of why crystals are healing? What power they might have? I did know prior to this that we do put crystals within a lot of different technology, like cell phones, laptops, things like that. But I didn't really know why. So I started looking into it, and I found a YouTube video from Gaia. And they talked about what exactly it is that makes crystals so special. They said that crystals are described as a physical substance that is highly ordered on the atomic level. They are the physical embodiment of sacred geometry. They're arranged in an extremely energy efficient way, which is why we use them to conduct energy within our technology. It said that scientists believe that this order in the structure is actually a reflection of geometric energy that we can't see. They believe this because the organization of the molecular structure and the specific geometrical forms that are within crystals determine that all energy that passes through the crystal will either be transformed or amplified. So that's actually on an energetic and scientific level that we've learned that, which I didn't actually know that, but it's not hard for me to believe.
Right. I think that a lot of people don't even realize that crystals are actually in our computers. They're in our electronics, and they are needed to conduct the energy. They are a conduit of the energy, and crystals can actually process information, which is what makes them so powerful. And they are a perfected structure, which I think is so magical to even hold that in your hand, hold something in your hand that did take thousands or millions of years to create, which that in itself to me is super powerful. But to hold something that is so atomically perfect and sacred geometry geometry is a whole nother rabbit hole, but it has so much power and is kind of the magic behind our universe. Like,
yeah. I mean, like, imagine the wisdom that could be held within something like that, and something that's existed for so long. Like, that alone is so cool. And then you think about, like, just the fact that they look beautiful, like they're gemstones, just like the way that we value diamonds and emeralds and things like that. Like, crystals are beautiful. They're physically attractive. They feel, I don't know, soothing, relaxing, cooling to the skin. And some of them actually vibrate within your hands if you are attuned to that frequency.
Right. Also, with crystals having this very stable structure, it makes sense that they emit such a strong frequency that can influence the surroundings around them. Humans are a little more complex, and our makeup is a little more messy. We're not so structurally perfect in terms of like how we're atomically built. So when something like that is in your environment, and if you think in terms of vibration and energy, it is going to influence the energy around you, and then, you know, influence your own energy. Like, something so perfect, of course, is going to have such a powerful energy that it emits.
Definitely. And I mean, so we were talking about the forms of crystals and the sacred geometry and how they can hold wisdom. I've seen a lot of people use crystals to set intentions, not only in the way that, like, when you hold a crystal, you're going to think about like love, or you're going to think about relaxation, or which you can set those intentions with crystals, but you can also hold a crystal and visualize what it is that you want to manifest and put that energy within the crystal, so that when you use this crystal in your practice, you become more likely to actually create that within your reality.
Right. So you're charging the crystal with your intentions, which is a very powerful thing. And because they can hold and process information, like you had said, they're going to be able to vibrate at that frequency of abundance or love or whatever. It's going to vibrate that frequency, and so then that is what's going to be emitted in your vibration, and it will help to manifest that, or help to align yourself with that frequency of whatever it is that you're charging the crystal with.
Definitely. I've also had friends give me crystals, which I love, and certain ones, like, a friend will give it to you with the intention to, like, give you love, give you support, and give you relief from whatever stresses you might be feeling. And so every time that I pick those crystals up, I think of that. I think of that memory and that intention, and how lucky I am to have this person in my life, and how much better that makes me feel. And even just that can be immensely helpful.
Right. I think that is super special. And on the flip side of that, like, being mindful where your crystals come from. Like, I've seen a lot of antique stores sell crystals, and they're being surrounded by the energetic frequency of so many different things, and things that have carried lives of people inside, like, so much energy around them. So being mindful of that, but also know that, like, you can cleanse the crystal, and that is an important thing of having crystals, is like cleansing them and charging them, and you kind of get to take care of them so that they can return the favor. But just being mindful of, like, the intention of the crystal, and know that it can and sometimes should be cleansed of certain energies, so that it can work to its highest good.
Yes, such a good point. Going off that, there's two things. One, when I first was introduced to crystals, I was told that you should pick out your own crystal. Obviously, if somebody gifts you one, that's a little bit different, but if you're at a store, let them pick you. Don't just go off of this person saying, like, you should get this kind of crystal, because every crystal is going to feel a little bit different to you. And I truly believe that the ones that you need the most are the ones that you will be most attracted to. We both sell crystals. I've done it as, like, more of a hobby. I've only really specialized in, like, more rare crystals where there's only going to be, like, literally one piece of this certain kind. Whereas you have, like, every kind of crystal, and especially, like, the more prominently used ones, like the ones that we think of, like rose quartz and amethyst, and I mean everything, right? But I have tested out this theory. When people come over, I'll be like, which crystal do you like best? And I swear it's always like, oh, that makes so much sense, because that is the one that would, like, most benefit that particular person. And it's never, like, the same ones, which is kind of surprising, because I think, like, when you think about, like diamonds and things like that, people will be attracted to a similar one, like probably the most valuable one or something like that. With crystals, it's a little different. You're attracted to the energy that you most need. And the other thing I was going to say, you were talking about how crystals will pick up the energy of what's around them. A lot of crystals are made to absorb negative energy as well. And I was thinking of our favorite antique store and how I've never bought a crystal there. And I never knew really consciously why. I was just very like, for some reason, I'm not attracted to these crystals. I have zero desire to buy these crystals, which is odd for me. But I'm just like, I don't know. I there's lots of them. I just don't want these ones. That's
true.
probably why. That makes a lot of sense. Definitely taking care of your crystals, cleansing your crystals, and charging your crystals can make such a world of difference. I think that I cherish the ones that I put the most energy into.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so fun to like pick where you're going to put them in your home based off of like the intentions that you want from them and what you are using them for. I kind of want to go back to this idea of like picking out your own crystals, because a lot of times, you know, we are buying crystals for ourselves. And it is very much an intuitive thing. Like you have to be able to like listen and see how you are reacting to different crystals. And you don't even have to be in person necessarily. I think that you just know what crystals are meant for you. And though, you know, so-and-so says rose quartz is good, like just because they like rose quartz and that's what they've talked about doesn't mean that's what you have to buy. I think that it is so personalized to you, and you should always get the ones that are calling to you, because that is the energy that you are needing in your life. And I too believe in that wholeheartedly. And just always listen to that when you are buying crystals. That's like the number one tip I could give you, is like they know that they need you, so you'll hear them calling for you.
Definitely. I know too that there have been certain trends going around the internet about like what crystals you need to change your life. And I just want to reiterate that point. Pick the ones that you are most attracted to. You don't need moldavite to change your life. Moldavite is a really cool crystal. I've gotten to hold a real one. I did feel it vibrate in my hand, definitely. And I thought that was really cool. But for some reason, I wasn't like, I need to have this. I was just like, that was really neat. I don't think I want that.
Yeah.
One of the first crystals that I think made me really believe in the healing power of crystals and want to learn more and buy more of them was selenite. I kept on seeing selenite in different houses, and I was even looking at houses to buy at the time. And for some reason, like every house that I looked at had selenite in it. And I kept being like, what is that? And so I'll show you my little selenite tower here. I didn't know that it was a crystal even necessarily. I was just like, what is that? That's in everyone's house. And then I picked one up after that, not at somebody's house, but at a store. And that was the first time that I felt a crystal's vibration in my hand. And it's just to me like a very tingly sensation, almost like when your hand falls asleep, but like minus the pain and frustration. It does feel very energetically charged. And I love selenite to this day. It's not the most expensive crystal, but it is a self-cleansing crystal. And depending on how you hold it, either towards your body where you're bringing good energy in, or away from your body where you're releasing what no longer serves you, I just think it's really such a valuable crystal. And it can cleanse other crystals. So if you leave it around your other crystals, it can help cleanse them from whatever energy they might be holding on to. But I love selenite.
Yeah, I love selenite too. It is so special. It's one of the highest frequency crystals, and that is why it is able to cleanse itself. It's able to cleanse other crystals. It can cleanse your space. And I've sold little like trinket trays, like little heart-shaped trinket holders that you can put your rings in to charge like your jewelry or to cleanse your jewelry. So it's just a really good tool to have in your house. You can use it for a variety of ways. Again, it is relatively inexpensive in terms of crystals, and if you are looking for some place to start and it's calling to you, I highly recommend that as an option. It's super, super good. My first experience I'm just going to say like my first experience with crystals in general was when I was a little kid, and I used to love rocks. Like I'd play with rocks and mix them in water and think it was cool, whatever. But we would go to this little store, and I don't even know what it was, but it was just like this little store that had like a stand of like tumbled rocks and the little velvet bag that you could like pick out your crystals and put it in this little velvet pouch. And it was the best day ever for me. And I picked up a piece of amethyst and I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. I love it. And ever since, I've loved amethyst. It is kind of one of the more like common crystals. I feel like people who aren't even necessarily like crystal people have an amethyst.
Yeah, I agree. Or you might have it in jewelry or something like that.
Yes.
But I love amethyst too. I think it is, to me, a very like soothing, like anti-anxiety, and it's so pretty. I have an amethyst that looks like a crescent moon, and I love it, and I have it next to my bed always.
Yes, there's so many different forms that it can come in, and it's so pretty. It's a form of quartz, and it is also good for like connecting to your intuition. It's purple, so it's going to kind of help with connecting to your third eye chakra, and it is also helpful for things like anxiety, and it can help with interrupting negative thought patterns, like that you're like this continuous like thoughts that you have in your head, whether it's about yourself or a situation, which is a lot of times where like anxiety is like, that's kind of how anxiety can manifest, is limiting like thought patterns that are not doing you any good. So it helps kind of nip those in the bud and helps you move on, and it's good to keep in your bedroom too. I have it next to my bed, and yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's like where my little witchy journey started, was my little velvet pouch of tumbled crystals.
I love that. I always loved rocks as well. I don't remember having any really young experiences of crystals, but I probably didn't know. I definitely have always picked like agates and things like that, or like whatever I found at the beach, I was like, treasure.
Yes.
Yeah, I've always loved rocks.
Same. And amethyst was actually the first like crystal that I found myself. Like I found it just in the water one time in Lake Superior, and I was like, wow,
coolest thing
meant to
ever.
be. It's just my crystal, I guess. But one thing that I also wanted to talk about a little bit is like, you say you are kind of into the crystal thing, but you don't really know what they mean, or you don't really care to find out. That really doesn't matter. You don't have to know the meanings of the crystals to have them around or for them to work. If there's a crystal that's calling to you, get the crystal, and you don't have to know anything else. You just know that it's meant for you, and it will do its thing without you having to worry about it or anything, which is special. And it just kind of depends on what level you're at. Like if you want to use your crystals just as like a reminder of an intention that you're setting, or if you want to explore your practice deeper and charge your crystals and put them in the moonlight and know all the meanings, like it, and truly believe that they influence your energetic vibration. Like it doesn't matter where you're at on the scale in terms of believing if crystals work. I think just having them around and not knowing anything else works just as well as working with them in a more extensive practice.
I completely agree. And I also think that similar to like flowers or other beautiful things that we love to have around, like just plants and things like that, they can bring you joy through that. Just the appreciation of their beauty can be very uplifting on its own. But yeah, I agree that they're just going to do whatever they're meant to be doing for you just by having them around. You really don't need to be like totally a crystal professional or like anything like that to have them. Buy what you think is pretty. Buy what you think is attractive.
And wearing crystals too, you know, they're bringing you your
Should we wear black ones today, do you think?
Yes, usually wearing crystals at all times, and yeah, in pockets, purses, cars, whatever.
Same. Bras, you name it. If I don't have a pocket, you know it's still on me.
There's somewhere.
Also, slightly off topic, but if you are cleansing your crystals, so there are different ways to cleanse crystals. One, as we talked about, you can cleanse other crystals with selenite just by having them around it, but you can also wash crystals with water. However, any crystal that ends in an ite, you do not want to put in water like selenite because it will ruin the crystal. It will break it down. So not all crystals can go in water. You can also smoke cleanse them, like just the way that you cleanse your home with Palo Santo or sage, anything like that. I think that the intention is really powerful in itself. Also, we talk about charging crystals. If you don't know about charging crystals, you just want to put them under the light of the full moon. And that itself will absorb that energy. We have a lot of episodes about the moon and what different moons mean and aligning your cycle with the moon. Check those out because different moons have different energies, and there are certain ones that you may want to charge your crystals with more so than others.
Right. And I also, you can do it by just how you feel based on the moon. Like if you see the moon's full and you're feeling irritated, or if it's like bringing a little bit more of a contrasting vibration to your life, then I wouldn't recommend necessarily charging your crystals in that energy. But if it's the full moon and you're feeling good, you're aligned, and that moon is resonating with you, that energy is resonating with you, then go ahead and charge your crystals. And you don't even have to put them outside. You can put them in the windowsill. That works. And so kind of separating back to cleansing, you can use the sunlight to purify your crystals. There are some crystals that do fade in the sunlight as well, so be mindful of that. You can cleanse them in salt, and then you can even bury them in the earth, which I think is really magical because it kind of connects back to where they came from in a sense. Not necessarily, they're not all like coming from the soil, but like it kind of brings back that like grounded earth element to the crystal and cleanses them, and kind of infuses it with the negative ions of the earth. So I think that's really magical and special. But yeah, I love to work with the moon with my crystals if you want to experiment with that. And you can also charge it with, say, the new moon energy if you're wanting to set intentions. I think that the new moon is really good to work with for setting intentions and can be a powerful way to charge your crystal with a specific intention as well.
Yes, put them back at home. No, I know most crystals grow. I mean, some are actually in the dirt. I've seen them dig up crystals in the dirt. Yeah. But yeah, most of them I think are more in like caves and things like that. Imagine finding a cave of crystals, though. Tell me you don't think that's magical. I don't believe you.
The most magical, honestly.
There's no way. There's no way you can walk into a cave of crystals and be like, oh,
this isn't for me.
I don't believe you.
Oh my gosh, the energy that would carry. Oh,
the energy so that thought made our sound come back to normal. So if you do want to learn more about crystals, obviously you can Google anything nowadays. I've noticed that when I Google, a lot of different meanings come up. So again, crystals are a very intuitive thing. What you feel about them is likely what's accurate for you. But I do have a couple crystal books that actually both have been gifted to me. And there are so many different crystal books. So if you find one that you think looks really cool, you can get it. You can learn more about your crystals. And actually in both of these, there's different like practices you can use. I remember one of them got me into crystals. Like when I first started learning about them, it was like you should have at least these like 10 basic crystals and just buy like little ones, and you can put them in a jar and like close your eyes and grab out one every day and like use that to set your intention for the day and to kind of read the energy for the day. And I thought that was cool.
I think that's a fun way to experiment with like what crystals resonate with you too. Like buy little tumbles of a variety of crystals and like play with them, touch them, meditate with them, and see how they make you feel. Do you align with them? Like what calls to you? And then I think that'll help you kind of further buy more crystals that align with you if you're not doing it in person necessarily. And honestly, working with crystals, like you do kind of have to get to know them. And I think the deeper that the more time you spend with them and the deeper like connection you build with them, the better that it just you. I don't want to say they work better, but they just like you begin to resonate and align with them more. And I think that you begin to believe in them more, quote unquote, which then, of course, the more that you believe in something, the more that is going to become like your reality, because that is what you believe and that's what's going to come forth. And if you're like unsure, yes, they're still going to be vibrating at the frequency that they're vibrating in your vicinity. But if you don't allow yourself to resonate or align with that frequency, you know, it's still, it's going to be what it is. So I like crystals are amazing tools, and they can really amplify your efforts towards manifesting or healing, and you will get out of it what you put into it in terms of vibration, I think. And there's a lot of crystals that help amplify energy, and there's a lot of crystals that are protective. So if you are aligned and feeling good, like working towards a goal or something, like use a crystal that's going to help amplify those efforts. Like quartz, any version of quartz can help amplify intentions. But if you are wanting to protect yourself or to not necessarily amplify the energy that you're vibrating at, you can use crystals that are helpful in getting rid of negativity and protecting you from negative energy. And you know, a lot of those crystals are going to be the black crystals, and just like the crystals that amplify, a lot of those are going to be more of the clear, the white crystals, which brings me to another point in terms of working with crystals. A lot of it does have to do with color, because colors emit a specific frequency. And so if you think about certain colors, they're going to align with certain chakras, and certain chakras align with certain energetic correspondences. So it's all kind of intertwined. So just keep that in mind too. Like if you, on a more simple level, if you are wanting to call in love, like think about maybe using the pink or red crystals. If you are wanting to bring in more joy or abundance, think about using like the yellow crystals or the green crystals. So it's pretty intuitive in terms of how that kind of works, but you can also take it a step further. So if you're working on your throat chakra, the throat chakra is aligned with more of like a blue color. So thinking about blue crystals, you're going to want to use like sodalite or something that will help open up your throat chakra, will help with communication, things like that. You can really explore it like deeper and deeper. So again, it doesn't matter where you're at on the spectrum of crystals, but you can always take the practice further, and it all always intertwines with each other. And
everything, as we say in every episode.
Yeah, literally.
Also, check out our color magic episode. Do we have an episode on that?
Yeah.
Or is it dress, like wear what you want to manifest? Dress to manifest?
I thought we did a specific color episode, but maybe not.
I know, I can't remember, but we'll figure it out. We'll link it. Also, if you are interested in purchasing any crystals, we will definitely link what we have available. I just wanted to mention that before I forget. We're going to remember this time to link it for you guys.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I do sell crystals for sure. So Superior Crystal Coven is where I sell crystals, and a really good resource, and something that will be growing in this year, 2024. It's 2024. So a lot is coming this year. So you can check out our resources for more crystal stuff below.
That said, I want to know, like, what are your favorite crystals? Do you have like a top 3?
I honestly, for me, it changes often, just because I'm really in tune to like how I'm feeling and what aligns with me right now and whatnot. So right now, I would say that I really align with opal, and I really align with labradorite, which they're both like like
opalescent, like they
yes.
have rainbow pearl
Yes.
pigment in them. They're so pretty.
So that is kind of what I'm drawn to right now. Labradorite it's kind of known as the stone of like mysticism. It's very like Scorpio transformation
Yes.
energy, which is partially probably why I'm drawn to it. Initially, like, I guess I can't say initially, but I would say prior to like a year ago, Labradorite was very like, I was turned off by it. I was like, no, like I know it's cool, but like, nah. And now I love it. I'm obsessed. And like, it's like the northern lights trapped in a little stone. It's so special and magical. And it literally represents like magic and transformation, mysticism, and like, I love it. So that's what I'm just drawn to right now. What about
I
you?
love that. I could totally see that. I've always thought of labradorite as the mermaid stone because and it is so magical because if you look at a piece of labradorite, you might not see its flashback right away. Like it might just look like a rock that's black.
Yes.
And then you start moving it and you're like, oh my God, there's like a whole rainbow of color hidden within this rock. Like it's so cool. I love it.
Yes. And that's like what I'm all about, is finding your magic within. Like, you can find the magic in your little labradorite, but you don't always just see it when you're holding it. It's so
Moonstone is one of my favorites because of that same thing. I find like I have this little piece of raw moonstone, and when I hold it a certain way, the whole thing flashes back like this beautiful gold and purple color. It's so cool. But you might look at it and just be like, oh, that looks like a piece of quartz from Lake Superior. Like it's nothing special. But it's like secret magic.
Yes.
Oh, so cool.
And you know, those crystals also remind me of dragon tails, if you ever watched dragon tails like
yes.
the magical transportation stone.
Yes, that's what they are. For me, I think my favorite crystals in general, obviously I mentioned selenite has always been one of my absolute favorites. Black tourmaline for me too. I love black tourmaline. I have it in my favorite ring. One of my actually two of my favorite necklaces are black tourmaline, and I have a black tourmaline sphere that I bought in Salem, Massachusetts that I just love. It's very weighted. It's very heavy, and it is meant to absorb negative energy. And I've always just thought of it as like such a witchy crystal. Like I just love that one. Also, I really love green fluorite, which I have quite a few different colors of fluorite. I've always just thought fluorite is so cool. It grows in those squares, but the green from Brazil, for some reason, I just love that one. I feel like it brings a lot of like abundance and kind of like the feeling of royalty for me. It's like it's like the emerald kind of vibe for me. It's like a valuable stone to me. I really like that one for some reason.
Yes, fluorite's so lovely. And black tourmaline also is really good at like protecting you from EMFs and stuff. And it's a good like protective stone to travel with. So it's good to literally just keep around like anywhere in your car, in your bag, and bring it with you on the plane, whatever.
Yeah, I love it.
Another stone that I have, it's a more recent discovery for me, is Kambaba jasper, and it is really cool. It's very smooth, but it looks like kind of like a reptilian, the back of like a reptilian or like a dragon or something. And it's known as this stone that heals the healers. So it is like for the people who obviously people who've had like really intense like traumas or have a lot of like emotional things that they're working through, but they're also like, it's really good at helping you heal things that are really deep down. So I feel like a lot of time the healers are healed, but they have things that are like so far deep inside of you that you haven't healed yet or don't know that's there. And I feel like it helps like kind of bring that to light and heal you. And it's really good if you're like afraid and you might not even realize that you're afraid to like process something. Like it's been so shoved down so far for so long that you don't want to ever look at it again. It's a really special and magical stone that helps work through that, and it helps work through like deep emotional responses that you might have to things, or like how you respond in like stressful circumstances or traumatic circumstances. Like for me, I've I don't know, struggled with, or like I've done a lot of like dissociation in experiences where I feel uncomfortable or if something's happening. And I didn't even know that. I didn't realize that. And I that's kind of like an automatic trauma response for me. And I've done it. I do it to this day. And I didn't realize I was even doing that in situations until I was like, I regularly started holding this stone, and I like had this total realization of something that I didn't even realize I was doing.
That's awesome. That makes me really want it. What color is it?
It's like a deep green and black.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
Oh,
it's so pretty.
Okay. I really want that one now.
Yes.
Besides that, like what my favorite crystals are that I own right now are these ones here. So this one is super heavy. It could literally be used as a weapon if you need to slay vampires or anything like that.
I think about that too. Like if someone breaks in my house, I'm whipping out a crystal. They're heavy. I can stab them. They're pointy.
But I've got a lot of crystals. I mean, even like a crystal sphere, I think sometimes like if you had to throw something at somebody or hit somebody with something in your hand, like they can protect you in a lot of different ways.
Multi-purpose. I'm telling you.
But this one I love. You're probably not going to be able to see the depth of this crystal on the camera, but when you shine a light on it, it is like magnificently sparkly, and it has all of these little druzy pockets in it. And then the other side of it is like completely this beautiful stone, and then there's even a hole in it that has more crystals growing within it. Like, I just love this. It's so pretty. And I love things that are like really heavy to me that feels like valuable for some reason. I'm like, I love it.
And something like this would be really cool as a bookend.
Yes. And I like that it's gray and it's like off-white colored. So it really like looks beautiful with the furniture that I have, and like it could look really nice in a very like minimalist space. I think it would be like such a nice touch.
A lot of people use crystals as statement pieces who don't even like think about it, like think about like the metaphysical aspect of crystals. They just use them as like statement pieces
just because they're pretty.
And if you think about it, a lot of like countertops and stuff are made with beautiful stones, like
granite and quartz. I've even seen labradorite.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Although there are so many AI things now, who knows what's real.
I mean, that wouldn't necessarily be practical if you had to like clean it, unless it was like coated in something very specific.
The picture that I saw looked like it probably was real labradorite, and it was coated. I don't know if it was like epoxied or what, but it was cool looking. This is probably my other all-time favorite. This one, like I said, I collect rare ones more so, and I've never seen anything like this before. It has hematite quartz on it, which gives it like these beautiful tiny little quartz points that have pink on top of them, which I absolutely love. And then I haven't been thinking about crystals in a while, so I've forgotten a lot of the names, but it has pyrite within it. And then it has this really pretty, like if there were a phone flashlight on here, you would see that it sparkles like into oblivion. It's so beautiful, but it's like this silvery color. I honestly forget what that's called, but it is like just the prettiest thing. And can you imagine a wall of this in a cave?
My gosh,
like
I want to live there.
I know. I want to live there. It's gold and silver and pink and clear, and I love it. So that's definitely one of my all-time favorite ones.
Oh, I love that. On like to kind of start to wrap this up a little bit in terms of how you can use crystals, there's a lot of different like practices that you can incorporate them with. You can have them in your house, like we've talked about, being mindful where you put them in your house. You can also meditate with them. You can meditate with it with your specific intention in mind to bring that to life, but you can also meditate with the crystal and let it almost like give you a message, like allow you to kind of receive its energy and its message. I have been recently getting more into creating crystal grids, which is extra magical because the crystals themselves are sacred geometry, but then you are putting them into sacred geometrical shapes. So that's really magical, and I believe it to be one of the things that helped me manifest a job that I really wanted. And it happened immediately after I made this crystal grid. It had pyrite in it. rose quartz, and green aventurine. So, I mean, if you're in a similar situation, just having any of those crystals around may help manifest that for you. But also, you can travel with crystals. You can put them in your car, you can put them at work, and they'll look pretty and you'll have that energetic vibration. You can put them in candles, which you actually just made a really cute little gift for me with crystals in a candle, which is really special. And I like that idea because you're like lighting the intention, like you're energetically lighting the intention with the candle. I don't know.
I feel like it's like putting energy into that intention. And like you had gifted me one last year and it was for abundance, and I didn't light it for a long time because it was really beautiful. It also had a citrine crystal in it, which I love citrine. It's a very abundant crystal. But when I did finally light it, I came upon a lot of abundance within the next month. So I'm like, I don't know, but I think it worked.
Yes. And another thing that I have been doing that's been really, I think, fruitful is putting crystals in my plants.
Yes.
Like the plants that I put crystals in are like thriving, living their best life. So putting crystals with your plants, I'm telling you,
I feel like they're meant to be together. I definitely agree with that. I put my crystals in my plants too, or at least around and near them. Like, I just love to do that. Another kind of odd thing that I personally do that I don't know if other people do is with crystal spheres, especially like this one is black tourmaline. It weighs a decent amount. I love to rub it on my sore muscles. Like, it's kind of a great massage ball. You can even use it. Like, I have lavender massage oil, and I use it with that. And I'm like, this is the happiest thing. And it can absorb that negative energy from you at the same time. So I'm like, I just love doing that.
I love that. That's kind of similar to like facial rollers that they'll make out of like jade or
rose
amethyst.
Quartz, or
you're massaging that into your skin, which is so cool.
Yeah. So I don't know, rub yourself with crystals.
And on a different note, there are so many ancient cultures that reference or are their imagery of them using crystals, and so it's been something that has been widely used culturally or in a lot of different cultures. And I mean, I don't think they're wrong. I think we're more connected to the beings of, or like the doings of what goes on around with us. I think they were just more tapped into the earth and the cosmos and aligning themselves with source, I would say. I don't know, but
and maybe even like metaphysical energy. I feel like,
and so they used it, they wore it, they like drank out of it. They would use some crystals as like eyeshadows, and it's not new.
yeah, no, definitely, it's become definitely a more popular fad on the internet, but it is not a new practice at all. But on that note, shall we pull a card?
Yeah. So as we are just kind of finishing up here, just kind of my final thoughts on crystals, them being an amazing tool that you can use to connect to your inner magic and explore your inner magic. So just keep that in mind going forward. And the card that we have today is the Three of Pentacles.
Okay, if you're looking at the video, I just showed you what it looks like. But the Three of Pentacles, the key elements of the Three of Pentacles are cooperation and collaboration. With support, planning, and teamwork, a successful project can be achieved. In this card, you see the two religious figures supporting the artist while he works on creating a statue, looking on without interference. Sometimes all we need is to feel valued and have our hard work recognized. Upright, the meaning is the Three of Pentacles shows you that you may be beginning to feel recognized for all of your endeavors. Whether personally or professionally, you feel noticed and appreciated. It may take some cooperation and equal effort between you and others to succeed. Alternatively, you may be wanting to stand out from the crowd and not be just another cog in the wheel. This is a time of great personal growth. I think that's such a great message. We are just starting off the year as well, and I've kind of been feeling that same vibe.
Yeah, this feels very personal.
Yes. Reversed, you may be spending too much time seeking other people's approval. You should be prepared to be more independent and not be reliant on what others think. Or you may be hyper focused on the details and not be able to see the bigger picture. Whatever happens, you may not be able to rely on others for support right now. I've even been thinking about that as well lately, and thinking about how even if somebody has different opinions or different beliefs or views than you don't have to allow that to make you feel bad or to affect the way that you feel about yourself and your own beliefs. Yeah. Because everything that you experience and attract comes from within you, how you're feeling, and it's only a reflection of that inner state. So the message to me lately has been very clear that the more that I align with me and believe in myself and feel that connection to all that is, the more that my external reality reflects that.
Yeah, that's so good. I think that also, if you are offended or have a reaction to someone not agreeing with your beliefs or having different beliefs, I think that means that you're not very secure in your own beliefs.
Yes.
So that means that you need to work towards being okay with your beliefs and okay with other people having other ones, like being unbothered. Because when you are unbothered, you are certain that what you believe is true, and that's what will be.
Yes.
The other 100%. People can't influence you anymore.
Exactly. And I think that is so intertwined with our search for external validation, because when you no longer want that, then you're unbothered. Then you're unbothered.
Yes. Oh, that was good. Let us know if that resonates with you guys. Thank you so much for listening. This will probably be one of a few or many crystal episodes. If you have any specific questions about crystals, or crystals for this or crystals for that, or anything, rituals.
If you want us to go into more depth about them, we'd love to.
So let us know if you would like to hear more of that from us, and we thank you so much for being here. We are eternally grateful for you guys, and we are excited to continue to grow this amazing, positive, high vibe community.
Yes, yay. On that note, we would love it if you could like, share, comment, share your thoughts with us. As always, we love you, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.